forgot what it's about. Morning! I just mid-conversation with Jade. Hi, hope you're okay. Happy September. How the hell is it September? Like, it's nearly Christmas, which is fine for me because I love Christmas, but sorry for everyone else. How's your summer been? If you're on, come on and let me know. A week ago today, I was literally just at this moment in time getting off a plane back from Mexico. A week. It feels like it never happened, but it was absolutely amazing. And I wish I was back there. But kids are back in school. It's like a whole life reset for me right now. And I'm thrilled about it. I'm very shiny. Good morning, Jade. Me and Jade were dancing on Friday night. We had a wicked night at Donna's party. Although, Jade, my shoulders and neck and back are here absolutely battering me since then. I'm getting way too old, I think. So, morning. Let's get back in some sort of work mode. So first things first, if you haven't joined the September Social Challenge and you want to, it's a free challenge that I'm running. I haven't really decided how long yet, kind of through September. Where each day I'm going to be giving you tasks or tips. So today it is just posted, actually, I think, in the group. There's a task to start you off today, but I'm going to be doing things throughout September to help you make your social media platforms better, basically. Tips to help grow your engagement and things like that. So the first one went out at 9:30 today, which I've now realised is obviously really bad timing at the exact same time I'm live. If you've registered, you'll get an email about it. If you haven't, you won't, but it's in the group. But do get on the email because I'm going to send out some extra little bits to email people. Morning, Sally. You all right? I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised your feet were sore with those beaut heels you had on. Yes, Jade, there's a tag in the group, but I can send you a link to sign up. In fact, Jade, will you just post the link in my live for September social, please? So yeah, totally free, all ready to blast off. So today I'm talking about business advertising, which I guess ties in nicely with social media, but we tend to think that business advertising is only about social now, and there's still quite a lot more to it than that. So obviously advertising and marketing are they go hand in hand. They can be the same thing at times. And there's loads of different types of advertising that you can do. So you can do things like newspaper advertising. And I want to kind of cover this off before I start. So the difference between advertising and kind of PR is advertising is paid for stuff, where you're generally doing it to either raise your brand awareness or to sell something specific. Oh, Jade, you haven't even shown your StreamYard name. You just show us Facebook user. Yeah, go sort that out. So yeah, PR is kind of like where you share your story, and it's almost like secret advertising. It's kind of like a bit covert. So you're sharing a human interest story or something exciting that you've got going on. I've done loads lately about kind of my body story around my scars, and PR can be advertising as well, but it's not paid for stuff. And sometimes you even get paid for PR. But here I'm talking specifically about paid for advertising or free advertising, but still very separate from PR. I had a chat with Donna the other day and she'd like me to do some stuff on PR. So that needs to go on our list as well, by the way, Jade. Mm-hmm. I think she's taking a photo. So you can advertise in loads of different places. So like a local newspaper, depending on your business, could be a great way to advertise. Costs can be dead cheap on newspapers. It really, really depends. But that's kind of just one place. Magazines, specialist magazines, especially, again, depending what your business is, what your niche is, who you're targeting. So, for example, for me, I can work with people anywhere in the world, and I do. I have lots of clients in different countries. So a local advert for me is kind of irrelevant. But if you're someone local, like a dog trainer or a cake baker or something like that, some kind of local advertising might be much, much more useful to you. So you can do local newspapers, magazines, so specialist ones that are specifically targeting your area. But even this gets a bit tricky. I don't really want that word. Even this you need to think through, because if you're a cake maker, there's no point particularly advertising in kind of a baking cake magazine, because you're reaching other professionals, then you're not reaching your ideal customers. So really be careful. Just be aware when you're thinking about where you could advertise is where you're reaching your actual customers, not just other people who do the things you do. And local radio can be a good source of advertising if you want to. However, generally for small businesses like ours, the most usual forms of advertising are things like, so if you're local, posters and leaflets, and these can be really effective. So I used to have a poster for therapy in the library, and our library is tiny in Clown, like really, really tiny. I had loads of enquiries through that, and almost all for my kind of ideal client. Lots of these were mums who had taken their child to the library and kind of seen my post about like losing their spark after having kids kind of stuff. What strategically placed posters that was entirely free for me can get you really, really good business if you're thinking about where your ideal client hangs out. So posters, leaflets. Now leaflets are a bit of a catch-22 sometimes, because so say you're a dog trainer, because I know we've got a couple, there is no point having loads of leaflets printed and posting them through every door, because only people with dogs want your services. Basically, you might happen to get a word of mouth recommendation by posting it through someone's door who knows someone, but it's likely a waste of time and a waste of money. So it's starting to think about where these people hang out and having leaflets in places like that, so pet stores, etc. Having I had someone who stuck some little business cards on the post on top of the dog poo bin, which sounds rank and I can't even think about it, but actually got some phone calls from it. So yeah, really start getting creative with where your people are. You know the kind of people. Hopefully you know your ideal clients. If you don't, go do the ideal client course. But getting in front of them where they are hanging out naturally is kind of the first port of call for all of this. And then obviously the other biggest way for almost all of us is online advertising. And this can be done really, really easily and well, again, if you're targeting your ideal clients. It's dead cost effective. You can reach a global audience, even at a low cost. So if we're talking about paid for Facebook ads, which I will talk about in a bit. So your advertising online is done through your website and through social media hugely. A well-designed website can be everything that you need, which then also advertises you on Google. Like naturally, as they search dog trainers near me, if you have a well-designed website, there you are, kind of because you're in the near me bracket. Blogging as well is a really, really good way to advertise yourself. You're kind of selling yourself as the expert while putting in the links to stuff that you want people to buy or download. And blogs are much easier to be shared by people who know you on Facebook, but also for you to be able to share in specific groups that relate to your ideal client. So in like parenting groups, if you could do a blog, if you're a cake maker again, I don't know why I've got these two in my head today. If you're in a parenting group, you could write a blog, kind of 10 important things to do for the best kid's birthday party. We'll make sure it's related to the cake in the end and have links back to you. You're more likely to be able to share a blog like that in a parenting group than any kind of like in your face advertising stuff. Does that all make sense? Blogs are a really useful way. Blogs on Pinterest as well works particularly well. Pins that drive to a blog convert really well at the minute. I say at the minute, they always have for us, I think. So yes, they're kind of the main forms of advertising. Social is a tricky one to crack if you're just doing ads. Like social is about being social, talking to your ideal customer. But there are lots and lots and lots of ways to be able to pull them into your circle. And there's loads of techniques to use to be able to do this. So specifically on social media, techniques like behind the scenes stuff, in terms of advertising, it shows you as a professional, it shows you doing your job, and it kind of allows you to kind of elevate yourself. People can see you in action. So showing you baking your cake, showing you training the dog, showing you like training a group of people. I'll often share photos when I'm running strategy days or training days. That's perfect advertising. It's showing people exactly what I do, providing I put it in front of the other people that need that sort of stuff. So videos, photos of you behind the scenes is great advertising because, yeah, it really, really builds up the know, like, trust factor, which is what all this is about. And there's a couple of other techniques for advertising that you can use. So there's one, like, I think a lot of multi-level or network marketing companies use like attraction marketing or association marketing with an emotional appeal. So you start sharing things that are intended to generate an emotional response from people, that are intended to push their emotions into feeling a certain way that attracts them to you. So when I worked with Unique years ago, which I loved working there, lots of the attraction marketing would be around, for me, it would be around, so autumn, we'd do loads of pictures around the fall colours, which match the fall makeup colours kind of stuff. And it immediately generates an emotional response of what autumn feels like. It's all a bit snuggly and warm, and you're generating emotion from stuff like that. And that's a really, really useful form of a useful technique to use in advertising. You've got to know your customer quite well to do that, to do it effectively. Another good technique to use is social proof. So sharing testimonials, actual evidence of the work you've done and how it's impacted others. So there's a huge difference between showing off the cake you've made and then showing people eating it and kind of enjoying the party that it's at. It starts building it into a bigger picture, and all of that pulls people in. That's all advertising. Even if it's free, it's all advertising. And then another huge technique in advertising, which is kind of, it feels like the opposite of this stuff, is bribe advertising. And that might feel or sound slimy, but we see it all the time. It's everywhere. Buy one, get one free, 20% off all purchases over whatever. Get a free gift if you spend so much. I have on my strategy day, if you're in my growth group, you get a discount on that. It's a perfectly normal type of marketing, type of advertising, and it does a great job, again, providing you're hitting your ideal client with this, because all of this is irrelevant if you're just talking at somebody who's not in your arena at all. So this usually leads on to the whole question of, should I pay for ads? So on social media, for small business, I would absolutely say not until you've exhausted all of your free opportunities. And there are a lot of free opportunities there. Good morning, someone. I don't know who you are. Tell StreamYard your name. Let me go see if I can hunt you down. But I've got too many tabs open, apparently.
It's Rebecca, India.
Oh, hi, Rebecca, I think Jay says. I'm still just trying to tell. Hope it is. I'm seeing you this week if it is. It is. Hi. Oh, and Anisha. Hello. You're both there. I thought that was Jade, to be fair. Morning, ladies. Yeah, so should you pay for stuff? Not until you've exhausted all your free channels. And I think this is really important because I did it with September Social Challenge because I just didn't get around to redoing it. I put a post out, told people about it, put it in my email, and then didn't do anything else with it at all. And then you wonder why it's not had the impact you want it to. I mean, I've got plenty of signups, but I thought there'd be more in a group of 400 here. But the fact of the matter is people don't see it. So I haven't exhausted my free opportunity by posting it one time. That is not what that means. It needs to go out a few times. It needs to have the copy tweaked. It needs to explain the benefits more potentially. Exhausting your free group is your free platform is not just a one-time thing. So there are loads of business groups we could have posted in, which I've just set Jade off on this morning. There are loads of other places that we can advertise it. And that's what we should be doing before we even consider paying for ads as a small business. Totally different ballgame once you're like generating the income that makes it worthwhile. Good morning, Marie. Hi. So yes, paid advertising can work brilliantly. When I was in Life Lounge, we used it a lot, and some campaigns were dead successful. You can get lots of sign-ups. You've got to know what you're doing with Facebook ads. If you're going to play with them, like just boosting posts is generally a waste of money. You've got to know what you're doing, so then we can start like learning how you generate a good Facebook ad and how you test it as well, because that's a big part of it. There is a good place for Facebook ads, but if you are a small business that is not generating much money, there are plenty of other ways that you can do advertising before you get to that stage. So, for example, some places that you can do some free advertising are things like you could write guest posts for other people's blogs. And generally, you can go into a large group, like something like the Mums in Business group. It's a huge group. You can certainly do it in my group, and ask if there are any businesses that you could collaborate and blog for, so that you are getting backlinks to your own website, that you are advertising on theirs. So it's never going to be someone who is in direct competition with you, but it's someone who complements you. So say I had the dog training business, which I'm obsessed with today, and a dog treat business, a shared blog kind of contributing to each other's blogs is a perfect collaboration there, and it's perfect for advertising. Another really good way of free advertising is to publish content on LinkedIn. It was called Pulse. I don't know if it's still called Pulse now, but their kind of article posts that can be written on there are really well received. They've got great reach, and it's a perfectly free way to get some of your advertising over. You can offer to do interviews on other businesses' podcasts. So I'm going on a couple of podcasts, I think, soon. Again, it feels very different from seeing a flat image on social media to seeing you in real life or hearing you in real life talking about your stuff, because the passion and your knowledge comes across so much more when you're on video or audio than it ever can, really, I think, on text. And that's coming from me, who hates doing video and audio, because I don't like having to show up at a certain specific time to do things. Not because I have any issues about doing it. It just feels very tying to me. But I know how differently I'm received when I'm doing lives and when I just put out text posts. So yeah, getting on other people's podcasts is a great one. Having joint interviews is a great one. If you have doing little masterclasses for Facebook groups like this is a brilliant one. Another really easy form of free advertising, a really, really small one, is on your emails, on your business emails, make sure you have some sort of picture email footer with your details on it, with your website. If you have a special offer, put it on the bottom of your emails. You can change this regularly, but it's starting to look at the ways in which people communicate with you, how you can promote yourself immediately on each one. So I tend to use... So instead of using the filter-free business email, I tend to use Roxy at roxyrose.co.uk. And on my email, I wonder if I can show you. Let me see. Yeah, so let me just see if I can remember how to share another bit in. On this one, let me come back so I can see what I'm doing. So when I write an email here, my footer is already set up with 2 different images on here, and they both click through to my website. And then depending who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about, I'll delete whichever one isn't relevant. I could get past this by just using one email address for therapy and one for business, but I just like them in the same place. So I can literally, depending who I'm talking to, just click on one of them and just remove it out. So that's a really easy way. But if I've got something on sale, I could change that banner to, whatever I wanted to each time. It's a little bit of kind of free resource for you to use. Send email newsletters, always going to be brilliant. Loads of people have a big barrier about this. I promise I'm doing an email marketing course because I taught this. Oh, hang on, I've got some comments. Because I taught the email marketing course live for one of my Lounge the Green sessions, and almost everybody there asked if they could have a video version so you can follow along and do it. Email is one of the best ways. Hang on, I'm just going to go to comments. I can't tell who my comments are from. Marie had a magazine ad for 6 months, went nowhere. Absolutely not the right thing for your business at that point. There are so many better things you could invest in, like some of the courses that I could show you how to do some of that stuff. Yeah, not useful for your business at this point. Who is this one? Anisha. Okay, so I made these in Canva, and then depending which email software you use, so I use Windows Live Mail, you just add it in as your signature. So when you add a signature in, you can add an image in. So play around with it a couple of times, make sure that when you send an email, it's the right size on desktop and specifically on mobile. But yeah, just make yourself an image and just in your signature, add the image. If you need to know how, I'll show you, but I can't show you on Mac, and I know you have Mac. But literally find the signature area and just add an image. Someone needs to get on the email marketing course. Rebecca, yeah, I need to do an online one that you can pause and follow. So the Lounge the Green one was brilliant, but you've missed it. I don't know if they're running it again. It depends on their funding. But yeah, I promise I'm making one. Like I had this Friday, scheduled in to do it, and it's my nan's funeral. So now I've got to find a different time, but I promise I'm doing an email marketing one. Yes, Jade, emailing would work so well for you. So Jade is a cake maker. And one of the really useful things that you could use email marketing for is if you've made a kid's birthday cake, for example, you know that kid's birthday, basically, a month before, 2 months before, the next year, you can email them and saying, do you need a cake for your kid's 8th birthday? Because you'll know exactly what it is. And for something like this that is repeatable and predictable, you definitely need email marketing, like hugely. Big bit for you. Is this Anisha again? Just tell us your name, Anisha. I think you know how to do that on the thing. How does it link to a web page? So when I add the image in, let me see if I can show you again. So on here, you can see when I hover over it that, yeah, my website comes up. I ought to change that to Rockstar's Therapy, really. So when you add it in as a signature, so I can show you on here, but it won't look the same on yours. So when you add it in as a signature, you can choose which accounts to do it to. So my whole signature says Roxy Kiss Kiss, has my main website. I could put different ones and change it. Has the image, and then when the image is inserted, if you click link up here, I add in the link that I want it to go to. So this one should go to Filter Free Business. Yeah. And just like that, and then I delete out which one depending on who I'm emailing. So I don't think that will make sense to you on a Mac, but that's how I do it on mine. But either way, you can definitely link it to a web page. Okay. No idea. Yeah, email newsletters. Absolute dog's bollocks. Your biggest, most important advertising ever. If Facebook crashes, if it dies, if it decides to close your group for any reason at all, everything can be gone. And I know people it's happened to. I know people who've had their groups closed and they've lost everybody. Your email list stays. That is your kind of one safety net. It's the biggest thing that makes a difference. And these people have signed up to hear from you specifically. They want your stuff. Yeah, they're well invested. Email list is everything. Good. Other ways you can help. You can do free advertising, a free product giveaway or contest. Again, if I was doing something like this, I would tie it into an email address. So I need their email address to be part of the contest, and then I can send them email newsletters. But it's a great form of advertising, giving something away free, because people will start sharing it in their network, providing, again, they're your ideal clients. Social, yeah, social. Experiment with photo and videos. The advertising works differently on both. So I tend to use videos to give like information. Most of my paid for advertising, which I ought to have a little look at, is generally like I will put a post out when I've created a new course rather than come on and talk about it, which maybe isn't the right thing. Maybe I need to think about that. Encouraging people to give reviews is a great source of advertising, because so when I ask people for reviews, I'll send them a lovely message that sort of says it's really hard to get reviews, especially for therapy. I mean the world to me if you were okay with doing one. If you are, please click this link, and then I will give them my Facebook page review link. So all they have to do is click that link, type their review, and then I will say, and it would just be amazing if you could just copy that review and then post it to this link, and I'll send them my Google reviews link. So they only have to write it out once, but they can copy and paste it into 2 places. From that, so then I have the reviews in those places, but from that, then I can kind of copy and paste their reviews myself, make them into Canva posts, screenshot them, use them myself as social proof from there, copy and paste them onto my website if I had a testimonials area. They can be really useful advertising. Some of the best ones are where somebody has left you a review, but one of their friends sees it, because the social proof from buying from a friend's recommendation is huge. So especially if you are local, reviews start becoming more and more important, because the likelihood is that other local people see someone that they know has reviewed you. So yeah, that can be just so useful for advertising. And then don't underestimate your local community. So I talked about the poster I put up at just a library, but I remember being at the library with my kid one day and thinking there are loads of mums here and they're my ideal client at that point. Network at in-person events where possible, but Anisha knows how much of a thing I have about networking events. Lots of the networking events are all just business owners wanting their own business. They're not necessarily about referrals. Your ideal client might not be there. So choose them wisely. Don't just go to every networking event, or if you do go, do it as a one-off experiment. There are lots of networking events in my area that just are not applicable to me, because even though these women are business owners, potentially they're not investing in their own business growth. They're out to just try and get more customers, and it's not a healthy way to behave in business anyway. But then it means they're certainly not my ideal clients. So pick your networking events very carefully. Some of them have like speakers. Go and speak at them if you're confident enough and you're able to. Go and do demonstrations. But again, check that they're the right things. So like some of the networking events here are, I think one of the speakers was about like feng shui in your home. And that's not relevant to me in any way. I would be wasting my evening going to that event, because yes, there will be other business owners there, but that's not the same as getting somewhere with your ideal client. So network at in-person events, but go and network at ones where there are other people trying to kind of achieve the same thing. Yeah. So yes, speak at those events if possible, but again, make sure these people that are at the event are some of your ideal clients, not just other business owners. Get brochures and flyers. Another really useful form of free advertising is checking your SEO, utilizing it for local results. If you are a local business, like your local community, having your place name, etc. in your SEO allows you to be found. It's dead useful. You could look at things like sponsoring a local team or group, but again, only if it feeds into your ideal client. And you might not know this. So I know a few businesses who sponsor football teams entirely pointlessly, because their ideal clients aren't there. And you've got to be strategic with this stuff, even more so as a small business. It's really different, again, if you're a big business and you're kind of giving back to the community by sponsoring. This is not the same thing at all. Be very strategic if you go down that kind of route. And approach your local community online. Like Nextdoor is a great local, is it an app? Online platform where you can kind of get to know some of your local people. There are usually local buy and sell groups that you might be able to advertise in, or certainly ask for information in. Your local community is much more important than you think, even if you are kind of a global type business like me, like I can work with people anywhere, my local community is still a really important source of my work. And a really interesting one because I actually meet people then in real life. So that's such a good idea. Yeah. So Rebecca does a baby in a box. Is it called baby in a box, Jade?
Yeah.
This like a subscription box. I can't wait to know a bit more about your business. Sponsored a couple of play groups, but even just putting posters up at play groups is a great opportunity for you. Potentially in a doctor's, like especially, or in a health visitor if you've got a separate health visitor area. Yeah, there's loads you can think of, but that's such a good idea. Yeah. That kind of free advertising, when I'm saying don't pay for it until you've exhausted your free stuff, there's usually so much more free stuff that you could be doing right now. Fab. So any questions? Like I said, if you've not joined the social September stuff, come on, join it. Some of the, I'm laughing my head off because some of the stuff that I am telling you to do, we still haven't done yet. So one of our jobs is to do it alongside you. So one of the tasks today you will see, there's still one social media account that I haven't done that for. So that's, oh, Jade's shouting at me.
For an email code from you.
Jade's on it, waiting for me. So there's some stuff I will be doing alongside you. And yeah, that's how it works. When I talk about like, what was I saying earlier about this? If you don't invest in yourself as a business, rather than just trying to get business, your business won't grow at all. So things like strategy days or little courses or whatever it is, not even necessarily what I'm selling to you, this idea that if you don't do the stuff for yourself because you're so busy chasing business, you'll get to a cap point where nothing grows any further because you've maxed out everything. You've got to be looking at how to make your business as a whole better at the same time. And it's a really hard line to shift. I remember that moment of shift when I started investing in my business and with people who could help me, that everything changed. So yeah, starting to walk my own talk sometimes. This is dead useful for me to remember to know. Look at the sunshine, like I've gone all white. It's proper gorgeous now. Niche can't think of what you can sponsor. We'll talk about it in strategy day. You coming on the strategy day? So as a wedding cake maker, obviously wedding fair is going to be your big thing and you know that. I don't know if sponsorship is the right thing for you. So when we talk about that, I don't necessarily think that there's something that you should be sponsoring. But I will have a little think about that one. But I don't think so. I think there's plenty of other stuff you could be doing without, because to sponsor, you are spending money. There are better things for you to spend your business money on right now, I think. Okay, any other questions? You know where I am if you want anything anyway. Tag me, message me, email me. It's all good. Come on the September challenge. It's going to be ace. I've got such a good plan about this one. Katie Beth's not on, but Katie Beth did one of my original courses years ago. I must be talking 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago. It was called September Startup, and this is kind of a bit of a growth on from that, I think, but specifically focused around social. So yeah, it's something I've done before. It's great. Could you do a free taster event? I don't know who said. Oh, Rebecca said that. You're saying that for Anisha. So Anisha makes really high-end wedding cakes. Potentially, you could potentially do. You'd have to it would have to be a bit of a kind of, I wouldn't say community hall, but it's probably got to be a bit classier than that, a bit of a Van Dyke's type room where you could potentially do some sort of taster event for your cakes. But all of that would rely on you having a big enough audience that are going to come, because you don't just want a couple of people coming if you're putting on an event like that. But yeah, that's a really interesting shout and a really clever one. I don't think I would have thought that. And this is why I blinking love my group. So thanks, Beck. Right. I'm back next week, I think. What am I talking about next week? Do we know? Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, am I back next week? Yes, I am back next week. The week after is Strategy Day. There's still a couple of places on Strategy Day. If you want to come, you get to come into a real life room with me and other business women, fair few of you in here. and to come and sit down in a room for a day and plan out your next 90 days in your business. No problem, Sally. Any questions? As always, just drop me a message. So I am back next week. I can't remember what I'm doing.
Limit distractions. How to limit distractions.
Oh, how to limit distractions. Oh, that's a right interesting one. I don't need to do any prep on that. That's such a fabulous one for me. Organisation is like my love. All right. Have a fabulous Monday. Have a great start to the week. Can't wait to see some of your stuff in the September Social Challenge, and I will touch you all soon. Thank you. Yay. I can't wait for strategy either. I can't wait to see you. All right, Sal, and everybody else. Thank you all for your input. It's been a lovely chat this morning. All right, I'm actually going now. See you all soon. Bye.